If you're eating low carb and you're sleeping longer, but waking up more tired, you're not imagining it. That pattern is common, and it usually has a few specific causes. The key point is this: sleep time and sleep quality are not the same thing. You can be in bed for 9 hours and still miss the deep restorative stages your brain and body need. Low carb can change stress hormones, hydration, electrolytes, and even how your brain uses fuel at night. It can also change your appetite signals and your training recovery, which feeds back into sleep. None of this automatically means low carb is bad. It means your setup might be mismatched to your body, your activity level, or your timeline of adaptation. In this breakdown, we'll map the most likely reasons, how they feel, and what tends to help in a practical way. By the end, you should be able to pinpoint which lever is most relevant for you. Moving to slide 2. First, let's separate two things people mix up: sleepiness and fatigue. Sleepiness is the urge to fall asleep. Fatigue is low energy, low drive, and heavy limbs, even if you could nap. On low carb, you can have less sleepiness but more fatigue, or the opposite. Why? Because the brain's arousal systems and the muscle's fuel systems are different. You might fall asleep easily, even sleep longer, but still wake up with that battery not charged feeling. That often points to fragmented sleep, less deep sleep, or a stress response during the night. It can also point to low blood volume from fluid loss, making mornings feel like you're moving through mud. So before you change anything, notice your pattern. Do you wake up multiple times? Do you wake up too early? Do you wake up with a racing mind? Those details tell you which mechanism is most likely running the show. Moving to slide 3. One of the biggest reasons low carb can make you feel more tired is simple fluid and electrolyte loss. When you reduce carbs, you store less glycogen, and glycogen holds water. As glycogen drops, you lose water and sodium through the kidneys. That can lower blood volume. Lower blood volume can mean lower exercise tolerance, more dizziness when you stand up, and that washed-out morning feeling. At night, it can also mean more bathroom trips, which fragments sleep without you realizing how much it matters. Electrolytes are not just a gym topic. Sodium, potassium, and magnesium help nerves fire and muscles relax. If you're low, your sleep can be lighter and your recovery can feel worse. People often respond by drinking more plain water, which can dilute things further. The practical takeaway is to think fluids plus minerals, not just more water, especially in the first weeks of a carb reduction. Moving to slide 4. Another common driver is a stress hormone shift, especially early on. When carbs drop, the body sometimes leans more on cortisol and adrenaline to keep blood sugar stable and to mobilize fuel. That's not automatically harmful, but it can change how you sleep. You might fall asleep fine, then wake up at 3 or 4 a.m. with a wired feeling. Or you wake up too early and can't get back to sleep. Even if you stay in bed longer, the sleep can be shallow. This is one reason some people say low carb gives them energy at first, but then they crash. It's not always true energy. It can be a stimulated state. If your life is already stressful, or you're training hard, that extra push can backfire at night. The goal is not to fear cortisol. The goal is to avoid stacking stressors, diet change, calorie deficit, intense training, and poor sleep, all at once. Moving to slide 5. Let's talk about calories, because it's a quiet trap. Many people go low carb and accidentally go low calorie. Protein and fat can be filling, and you stop snacking, so intake drops without you noticing. If you're in a big calorie deficit, your body often responds by conserving energy. You feel sluggish, workouts feel harder, and sleep can get weird. Some people sleep longer because they're simply underfueled, like a phone stuck in low power mode. Others sleep worse because the body increases hunger hormones and arousal to push you to find food. Both patterns can happen. A clue is your trend line. If your weight is dropping fast, your training performance is falling, and your mood is flatter, it may not be carbs as the problem. It may be total energy. Low carb can work at maintenance calories, but aggressive deficits plus low carb plus high stress is where fatigue often spikes. Moving to slide 6. Now the brain fuel piece. Your brain can run on glucose, ketones, or a mix. When you go low carb, there's a transition period where glucose is lower, but ketone production and utilization may not be fully ramped up yet. During that in-between phase, people often report brain fog, heavy fatigue, and unrefreshing sleep. It's not a moral failure, it's a metabolic handoff. Sleep can increase because your body is trying to recover and adapt, yet you still wake up tired because the adaptation isn't complete. This is also why some people feel better after a few weeks, while others don't, because their carb level, protein intake, and lifestyle can keep them stuck in the middle. If you're very low carb, but not fully ketogenic, you might be in a gray zone. The takeaway is to recognize the transition as a real variable. It can be temporary, but it's not always short, and it's not identical for everyone. Moving to slide 7. Protein is another lever people misjudge. Some low-carb plans drift into very high protein, especially with lots of lean meat and shakes. For some people, that's fine. For others, very high protein can increase thermogenesis and stimulate alertness, and it can also influence glucose production through gluconeogenesis. That doesn't mean protein turns into sugar in a simplistic way. It means the body can convert some amino acids into glucose when needed. If your carb intake is low and your protein is very high, your body may still be doing a lot of metabolic work overnight. On the flip side, some people go too low on protein, especially if they fear it will kick them out of ketosis. Low protein can hurt recovery, increase soreness, and make sleep feel less restorative. The practical point is balance. Low carb is not automatically high protein or low protein. Your sleep can react to either extreme. Moving to slide 8. Let's hit training, because it's a big reason people sleep more and recover less on low carb. High-intensity exercise relies heavily on glycogen. If you cut carbs and keep the same training volume and intensity, you may feel like you're dragging a weight vest all day. Your workouts become more stressful, and the stress carries into the night. You might sleep longer because you're depleted, but still wake up tired because your nervous system never fully downshifts. Endurance training can adapt better to low carb for some people, but even then, intervals and heavy lifting still like glycogen. A practical clue is performance. If your pace, power, or strength drops sharply and stays down, your body may be asking for more carbs around training, or for a temporary reduction in intensity during adaptation. Low carb is a nutrition strategy. It's not a magic shield against recovery limits. Moving to slide 9. Another sneaky factor is fiber and the gut. When people go low carb, they often cut out beans, whole grains, and many fruits. Sometimes vegetables drop too, especially if the plan is very restrictive. That can reduce fiber and change the gut microbiome. For some people, that means constipation, bloating, or reflux. And digestive discomfort is a classic sleep disruptor. Even if you don't fully wake up, microarousals can reduce deep sleep and leave you tired. There's also the blood sugar angle. If your meals become very large and very fatty, digestion can be slow, and lying down soon after can feel heavy. On the other hand, if you're eating too little overall, you can wake up hungry. The practical takeaway is to watch digestion as a sleep variable, not just a comfort issue. A low-carb diet can be high fiber, but it doesn't happen by accident. Moving to slide 10, let's talk about micronutrients that quietly affect sleep and energy. When carbs drop, food variety sometimes drops too. And when variety drops, certain nutrients can slip. Magnesium is the obvious one, because it's involved in muscle relaxation and nerve signaling. Potassium matters for fluid balance and heart rhythm. Sodium matters more than most people expect on low carb, because of that kidney effect. But also think about iodine and selenium if you've cut out dairy or seafood, and think about B vitamins if your diet got narrower. None of this means you need a supplement stack. It means your food choices have to cover the basics. Fatigue that doesn't match your sleep hours is often a systems issue, not a willpower issue. If you're doing low carb with mostly cheese, processed meats, and a few vegetables, you can hit your macros and still feel off. Energy is built from nutrients, not just carb counts. Moving to slide 11. Caffeine can become a bigger problem on low carb, even if your intake didn't change. If you're more tired during the day, you naturally reach for more coffee. But low carb can also change how wired caffeine feels, especially if you're already running on stress hormones. That can push caffeine later into the day. Then sleep gets lighter, you wake up tired, and the cycle repeats. Another pattern is using caffeine to force workouts that your body isn't fueled for. which increases stress and soreness. The practical move is to treat caffeine like a diagnostic tool. If you can't feel awake without it, that's information. If you need it after noon, that's also information. You don't have to quit, but you may want to tighten the timing and reduce the dose while you stabilize hydration, calories, and training. Otherwise, it's hard to tell whether low carb is the cause or caffeine is masking the cause. Moving to slide 12. So how do you troubleshoot without turning your life into a science experiment? Start with the highest yield checks. First, look at hydration and sodium, because that's the fastest to shift. Second, check total calories for a week, just to confirm you're not accidentally in a big deficit. Third, check training stress. If your workouts are crushing you, reduce intensity temporarily, or add targeted carbs around training and see how sleep responds. Fourth, look at meal timing. Some people sleep better with a slightly larger dinner, others with a lighter one, but very heavy late meals can backfire. Fifth, check fiber and digestion. If you're constipated or bloated, your sleep quality often pays the price. The point is to change one variable at a time for several nights, not everything at once. Your body gives clear feedback when you stop mixing signals, and if fatigue is severe, persistent, or paired with symptoms like fainting or heart palpitations, that's a reason to talk to a clinician. Moving to slide 13. Let's close by putting it into a clean mental model. If you're sleeping more but feeling more tired on low carb, it's usually one of 4 buckets. Bucket 1 is fluids and electrolytes, low blood volume, more bathroom trips, and lighter sleep. Bucket 2 is stress and stimulation, early waking, wired nights, and a nervous system that won't fully downshift. Bucket 3 is underfueling, either too few calories, too much training demand, or both. Bucket 4 is diet composition, protein extremes, low fiber, micronutrient gaps, and meal timing that doesn't suit you. Once you identify your bucket, the fix is often surprisingly straightforward. You don't need perfect macros. You need a stable setup that supports recovery. If you want, share your experience in the comments. Are you more tired on low carb because of A, early waking and wired nights, or B, heavy fatigue and sluggish mornings? And if you want more breakdowns like this, subscribe. This information is not a substitute for medical advice. Metabolism first. Everything else follows.